Okay, let's get started. Chapter 6. So chapter 6 is called Dhyan Yoga. So here Krishna will talk about the control of mind a lot, okay? So I will not recap the last chapter. I think we have reviewed it multiple times. That was called Karma Yoga, Action and Krishna Consciousness. But when once we read this verse, I'll just give you the context, how this conversation is flowing between the last chapter and this chapter. Please remember that this is a conversation. This is a dialogue between Krishna and Arjun. So it's not like this was divided into chapters. So Krishna is just continuing on this conversation, and once we read this verse, I'll tell you how the connection is and how then Krishna will, after a few verses, go towards controlling the mind, talk about controlling the mind. Okay. And throughout this chapter, I will try to give you sutras or principles of mind control. Okay. It may seem like this chapter is, talking about Dhyan Yoga, which is a limb of Ashtang Yoga, actually. Dhyan is a limb of, remember that Ashtang Yoga has 8 limbs. And towards the end, one of the limbs is dhyan or control of mind. Then comes deeper meditation. Dhyan is the deep meditation. Before that is dharana. And then comes samadhi. So dhyan yoga seems like, okay, it's one of the limbs of Ashtanga yoga. Why is it so important for a practitioner of bhakti yogi? We are bhakti yoga yogis. We are practicing Krishna consciousness, which is essentially bhakti yoga. So, why would Dhyan Yoga be important for a practitioner of Bhakti Yoga? Because this is a limb of Ashtanga Yoga. So, the understanding is that any yogas, okay, they are not separate from Bhakti Yoga. Any yoga, whether it's Karma Yoga, whether it's Jnana Yoga, whether it's Dhyan Yoga, whether it's various control of breath or sense control or rules and regulations or sitting in various postures, okay, asanas. All these things can be employed in the service of Bhakti Yoga. All these things are used to improve our practice of Bhakti Yoga. So, all these things will help us to perform our devotional services, the 9 limbs of bhakti, in a much better way. Okay. And out of all these different yogas, actually, the control of mind is very important, as you will see in this chapter. That mind is the main source of distress, main source of difficulties for jiva. Mind is the main source of our existence in this world. Mind is the reason why we are continuing in the cycle of birth and death. Okay. Mind is the reason we are identifying with this body. Mind is the reason why we are connecting with the sense objects of this world. Mind is the reason we relate to the dualities of this world. Mind is the reason we believe in the misconceptions, the illusions, the misinformation given by this world. Mind is the reason which cements our false ego. Okay, false ego means that I'm the enjoyer of this world, or I'm the enjoyer of this body, I'm the lord of this body. So, mind is the fundamental reason for our bodily identification and our material existence, our continued cycle of birth and death. Okay. Um, Mind is the reason why, when we are living in this world and difficulties come, you will see there is somebody like me and there is somebody like a very advanced devotee, let's say Prabhupada. If a difficulty comes to me, I will suffer in that difficulty. But when the same difficulty comes to an advanced devotee, let's say Srila Prabhupada or any other pure devotees, they will not suffer in that condition. Why? Because their mind is controlled, whereas my mind is not controlled. So I identify with those difficulties as my problems. Okay. So if I have failure, if I have sickness, if I have loss of wealth, if I have loss of family member, anything that happens to me while existing in this body, mind is the reason why I suffer because of that difficulty, whereas a more advanced devotee will not suffer because their mind is controlled. So please understand the value of mind, and then you will understand the importance of this chapter. Why, before going into devotional service, into the portion of Bhakti Yoga, remember that 7 to 12 chapters talk about Bhakti Yoga. Krishna spends this whole chapter, this whole long conversation, about 47 verses, on control of mind. Okay, so very, very important for us. Um, so this is how we will be able to stay focused in our devotional practices, stay aloof from various influence of the material world if we can control our mind. This is how we'll be able to focus on chanting. Okay, all these things will happen if we have controlled mind. So many things will happen if we have controlled mind. So that's why this Dhyan Yoga is important, not because it is a limb of Ashtanga Yoga, but it is a invaluable, it is a priceless tool for the practitioner of Bhakti Yoga to control their mind. Okay. So let's start. This chapter, unlike various other chapters, does not open with a question of Arjun. This chapter opens directly with Krishna's statement. Krishna is basically continuing the conversation that he left off in the last chapter. We'll see how. So let's recite this. 6.1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Anashrita Karma Phalam.
अनाश्रिता
Anashrita Karma
कर्मफलम्
Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha.
कार्यं
Karyam
कर्म
Karma
करोति
Karoti
यः
Yaha. Sa Sannyasi Cha Yogi Cha. Sa
स सन्न्यासी च
Sannyasi Cha
योगी च
Yogi Cha. Na Niragnir Na Chakriha. Na
न निर्अग्निर्न चाक्रिहा.
Okay. Can somebody read the translation?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes.
Um, Thank you. Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated, who is obligated in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty.
Okay. So let's connect this with the last chapter. So Krishna was talking about Karma Yoga. Krishna said that renouncing the work is not as much recommended as working with the spirit of renunciation. I think you know that concept very well now. That we should work with the spirit of detachment, not aiming to enjoy the fruits of that work for ourselves. Okay, we should work for satisfaction of Krishna. So that was that principle of that chapter. Krishna said that will be possible if you are a learned person. Okay. So Gyan is important. You have to become a learned, a wise person. Only then you will be able to implement Karma Yoga properly. So learned person is, then Krishna gave various characteristics or qualities of learned person. And then he said, he was talking about detaching from senses, he was talking about detaching from material desires and from influence of dualities, all these things towards the end of fifth chapter. So then he said there are two ways to do that. One is by Ashtanga Yoga. Okay. Remember that the penultimate verse of fifth chapter was talking about the uh, Ashtanga Yoga. But then Krishna said the better thing is to understand that I am the supreme lord of everything. I'm your friend and best well-wisher. So I am the proprietor and enjoyer, Bhoktaram, Yagyatapsam. I am the Bhokta or enjoyer of everything. So it's better that you work for me, and that will give you the eternal peace. Okay. And we call that verse the peace formula. Actually, not we. Prabhupada calls that verse the peace formula. That understanding Krishna is our supreme best friend and well wisher, and he's also the supreme personality of Godhead, the most powerful person, the only maintainer, enjoyer of everything. So becoming his servant will give us eternal peace. Okay. So then Krishna is now continuing that because Arjun's the doubt was Arjun was thinking that you either just renounce, okay, or you work. Hmm? But Krishna is saying no, these two things are compatible together, they go hand in hand. In your stage, you still work and work with the spirit of renunciation. Okay. So Krishna is still continuing on the same line. He's emphasizing, he's sort of, that last chapter, he sort of concluding that last chapter in these few verses of the 6th chapter here. So he's saying, actually, you think that a sannyasi or yogi is a person who leaves work and goes away. No, actually, the true sannyasi or yogi is that person who is not dependent, anashrita, who is not dependent on karma phalam. Anashrita means who does not take shelter of the karma phalam, who does not work for solely for the purpose of karma phalam. Karma phalam means for the fruitive benefits. So he is free from this desire of fruitive benefits. He is not dependent on them. Karyam karma karotiya. Why does he work? Such a person actually work only as obligation. Karyam only. Karyam means for the sake of working, for the sake of his responsibility, for the sake of his duty or obligation, or as part of his due diligence, he works. So a person who is not dependent on karmfal but actually works as part of his duty towards Krishna. Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. That person is a sannyasi and yogi. Okay? Because in beginning of 5th chapter, Arjun's doubt was that sannyasi or yogi is a person who leaves work. Krishna is saying, no, no, that is not a yogi or sannyasi who just leaves work. The person who works without attachment to karmfal for the sake of responsibility, obligation, that is a sannyasi and yogi, not somebody who is niragnir or akriya. Niragni or akriya means somebody who lights no fire and who is akriya, who is without any activity. That is not a sannyasi or yogi who is without, who lights no fire. Lighting no fire means like who does not cook, who does not do anything. So lighting fire basically means who has no activities in this world, who does not do anything in this world. So he's not niragnir, he's not akriya, he's not without any activity. That is not a sannyasi. The sannyasi is these first two lines. Okay, so Krishna is basically continuing and sort of summarizing the concept he gave in the 5th chapter. This, according to Krishna, is a true yogi, true mystic, true sannyasi. Okay. So let's read the purport. Mataji, want to continue?
Yes, Mataji. In this chapter, the Lord explains that the process of eightfold yoga system is a mean to control the mind and the senses. However, this is very difficult for people in general to perform, especially in the age of Kali. Although the eightfold yoga system is recommended in this chapter, the Lord emphasizes that the process of karma yoga or acting in Krishna consciousness is better. Everyone acts in this world to maintain his family and their paraphernalia, but no one is working without some self interest, some personal gratification, be it concentrated or extended. The criteria of perfection is to act in Krishna consciousness and not with a view of enjoying the fruits of work. To act in Krishna consciousness is the duty of every living entity because all are constitutionally part and parcel of the Supreme. The parts of the body work for the satisfaction of the whole body. The limbs of the body do not act for self satisfaction, but for the satisfaction of the complete whole. Similarly, the living entity who acts for satisfaction of the Supreme whole and not for the personal satisfaction is a perfect sannyasi and perfect yogi.
Mataji, let's pause and just take a couple of lines here. So, Prabhupada is saying that in this chapter, although Ashtanga Yoga is mentioned, but Krishna is beginning this chapter by saying that Karma Yoga, Lord is emphasizing the process of Karma Yoga because that's easier, especially in this day and age. It's not easy to just leave everything and go and practice the Ashtanga Yoga. Okay. So then Prabhupada is saying that everyone, the soul, we discussed this in 3rd chapter, soul cannot stay inactive. It is the soul is very active in nature. So everyone will be acting, everyone is doing something or the other. But most people are working for some self-interest, some personal gratification. They are not working for the satisfaction of Supreme or Krishna. Actually, we should be like limbs of the body. This is a beautiful analogy that keeps repeating. Please remember these analogies that either Prabhupada gives in the purport or that Krishna gives in the verses. So this is an analogy given by Prabhupada in the purport that limbs of the body should work in the service of the whole body. Okay, it's not like the hand is doing its own thing, legs are going somewhere else, hand is going somewhere else, tongue is doing its own thing, heart is doing its own thing. Every organ of the body is working in unison, right? In union to satisfy the whole body, whatever is the purpose of the whole body. So limbs should be working for the satisfaction of whole body. Since we are parts and parcels of Supreme, we should also work for the satisfaction of our Supreme Whole Krishna. Sometimes Prabhupada also says instead of limbs working for the whole body, he says like parts of a machine work for the whole machine. Like if a screw, often Prabhupada gives this analogy also, if a screw of the machine falls off, it has no value. The screw by itself has no value. But when that screw is connected to the machine, now it will make the whole machine work. So that screw is needed. It's not like it's not needed. It is needed, but it has no value without being connected to the machine. Okay. So if it is just separate, it is useless, it is worthless. But when it is connected to the machine, its value increases immensely. So that's why we are like that part and parcel of that whole machine, that whole body, and we should be working for the satisfaction of the whole body. Now, Prabhupada says something here, and I want somebody to tell me what does this mean. Let's see what your understanding is. Prabhupada is saying everyone is working, doing something. That is the nature of the soul. So they are doing something to maintain their family or for their personal sense gratification or for some self-interest, for some personal ambition, to maintain their property. Somehow we are working. Then he says, be it concentrated or extended. What does this mean? Be it concentrated or extended. What does this phrase means?
Is it that either they're concentrated on that, like if we are working for our family, like so be it concentrated, I think it means, my thinking is it means we are working directly towards it, but we have a much more purpose towards it.
Yeah, I'll give you another phrase. Sometimes Prabhupada says, be it personal sense gratification or extended sense gratification. What does extended sense gratification means?
Means families.
Yes,
Yeah.
extensions of our body. So whatever is there, like people say that I belong to this country or I belong to this group of people. So I'm working for their cause. Like I'm feminine. I'm working for feministic cause because I'm a woman. So I'm working for feministic cause. Or I'm working for this particular country, or I'm a communist, or I'm a particular race, or I'm this particular profession. So I'm working for their cause. So whatever our bodily identification is, extended sense gratification means to work for the extensions that we think are the extensions of our bodily identification, whether it's our family, because we think that those people are attached to our body. So it is still a type of sense gratification only, because we are just working still just to satisfy the bodily needs or bodily, again with this is independent of Krishna, right? Independent of Krishna, we are just working in an extended way to satisfy our own self-interest only. Okay, so that is what extended sense gratification means. Now we are not talking about obligation, duty, responsibility, or attach or keeping Krishna in center, not that kind of understanding. We are saying when people become very much attached, in a very attached way, when they serve a particular cause that is related to their body. Okay, that way we are saying. So these are some of the things I wanted to draw your attention to. Let's read the next paragraph. Who wants to read this one?
I can continue, Mataji.
Yes.
The sannyasis sometimes artificially think that they have become liberated from all material duties and therefore they cease to perform Agnihotri Yagyas. But actually, they are self interested because their goal is to become one with the impersonal Brahman. Such a desire is greater than any material desire, but it is not without self interest. Similarly, the mystic yogi who practice the yoga system with half open eye, seizing all material activities, desires some satisfaction for his personal self. But a person acting in Krishna consciousness works for the satisfaction of the whole without self interest. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for self satisfaction. His criteria of success is satisfaction of Krishna, and thus he is the perfect sannyasi or perfect yogi. Lord Chaitanya, the highest perfectional symbol of renunciation, prays in this way.
So it's sung like this. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadish kamaye mam janmani janmani ishware bhavatad bhakte rahe tuki tvai. Who knows where is this verse coming from? This is sung every morning in ISKCON. It's part of the morning prayers. So ideally we should know this is a set of 8 verses. We should actually know all these 8 verses. This is verse number 2. Yes, Nagarjan Prabhu sharing.
Hare Krishna. This is part of the Shikshashtakam by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah. So Shikshashtakam, very important. Ashtakam, the only known exact verses that are given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as such. So there is no written literature by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Lord Gauranga, other than these 8 verses. There are so many teachings of Mahaprabhu through his disciples, the Shad Goswami, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, that all the teachings that we get. But we don't get direct words of Mahaprabhu typically. Remember that Mahaprabhu is none other than
Krishna.
None other than Krishna in Kali Yuga. So he's saying, what is he saying, Mataji? Can you read? This is
Yes.
very beautiful.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to enjoy beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. What I want is only the causeless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he said, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. I don't want any wealth. I don't want any auspicious birth. Auspicious birth means like a good birth, born in a very wealthy family with a lot of opportunities. Now sundarim, or a very beautiful spouse. Kavitam. Kavitam means to be very scholarly, very philosophically sound or intellectual. And I don't want any Jagadish Kamaye. And I don't have any other desires. My only desire is that I become your servant or get your devotional service, your pure Ahetuki means uninterrupted, pure devotional service, birth after birth. So I have no desire for any wealth, followers, good birth, good wife, or all the knowledge, etc. Okay, so then in this last paragraph, Prabhupada is saying, so sannyasi or yogi sometimes may think that I am renouncing my material activities, my, let's say, professional duties, I'm taking retirement from these things, okay? But they are still hoping for some moksha, they're hoping for liberation, or they're hoping to merge into impersonal Brahman. So that is actually, it seems like a spiritual desire, but it mostly arises from being frustrated with this material world. So when their desires are frustrated in this world, a lot of jnanis and yogis, they just want this impersonal type of mukti, where they don't want to attach necessarily to Krishna, they don't want to render any service to Krishna, they don't want any relationship with Krishna, they just want to be free from the pangs of this world, from the problems of this world. So that is born out of frustration from this world, okay? So that is also a sort of an extended desire only, a desire with self-interest, with personal interest only. It is not any desire that does not connect one with Krishna, basically is not considered a spiritual desire. It is not considered it is still considered a sort of material desire. So Prabhupada is saying such a desire is greater than any other material desire. He's not trying to enjoy in this world. So it's better than those desires, but it is not without self-interest. So this is also, this person is worried mostly about himself being free from the cycle of birth and death, but not still not connecting with Krishna. So this, or a mystic yogi may want a lot of powers, mystic powers. So that's definitely even below the desire for liberation. So even these kind of yogis and sannyasis, they are not the best. Prabhupada is saying it is better that you stay in your own situation, in your own circumstance, in your own family where you are, and do the service that has been given to you. So whatever profession you are engaged in, do that with due diligence, with proper responsibility, with proper as obligations. Krishna is saying, do it as an obligation. Do it that this is the work given to you, work assigned to you by your boss. And who is your boss? Your boss is Krishna. So don't think that I don't feel like doing my work. I've become a very wonderful devotee, so I'm going to just retire from this work and just give up my family and go live in Vrindavan. No, that will not help. What will help is that you continue your duties, your responsibilities in your family life, in your professional life. Those were given to you as service by Krishna. So you do that service properly, even though there may be some difficulties in that service. You do that service with detachment, with a sense of responsibility, sense of duty. You do that. So that will be much more purifying. That is more of a yoga. That is more of a uh, path of Krishna conscious person. This will satisfy the desires of Krishna much better than just giving up everything and trying to merge in Brahman or trying to just attain liberation or salvation. That will not help. So such a sannyasi or yogi is not very considered very advanced, even by Krishna, as you can see in this last verse. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's do the next verse. So Krishna is continuing on this understanding. He will come to mind control from verse 5. Okay, so first 4 verses, he's still talking about this understanding why we should not just take sannyas. Yam sannyasam iti prahur. Yam
Yam
sannyasam
sannyasam
iti
iti
prahur. Yogam tam vidhi pandava.
Yogam
Yogam
tam
vidhi
vidhi
pandava.
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 न हि असन्न्यस्तसङ्कल्पो
Nahi
Nahi
asannasta
asannasta
sankalpo.
sankalpo
योगी भवति कश्चन.
Yogi
yogi
bhavati
bhavati
kaschana.
kashana.
Okay, can somebody read this?
I can read it, Mataji.
Yes.
What is called renunciation? You should know to be the same as yoga, or linking oneself with the Supreme. O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification.
So this is very, very beautiful. So Krishna is now sort of winding up this topic. Okay, what is he saying? Yam sannyasam iti prahur. Prahur word also comes very commonly. Prahur means it is said. Okay. So what is called sannyas? Okay, what people think of is sannyas. Yogam tam vidhi Pandava. Oh Pandav, vidhi means no. Understand that that is same as yoga. Okay. So sannyas is same as yoga. Please keep these 2 words in your head. Sannyas and yoga. Okay. So what does yoga means? Who can tell?
Union with divine.
Union with divine, meaning attachment to Krishna, right? Attachment to Supreme Lord. Is that correct, Mataji? Yoga means union with Krishna. So sannyas means renunciation of something. So Krishna is saying what people think of sannyas is same as yoga, meaning you cannot become a sannyasi without attaching to Supreme, without first linking with the Supreme. Okay. So you think I am very frustrated with my family life, I'm very frustrated with my job, okay, or my job is not very interesting, or my family is very difficult to satisfy, right? My spouse, my children, my whatever, they're very difficult to deal with. So I'll just leave everything and go take sannyas. But sannyas is same as yoga. So you cannot become a sannyasi unless you are a yogi, unless you are first connected to Supreme. So only that person basically has right to take sannyas who is connected to Supreme. You understand? That is why karma yoga is needed, because you need to start gradually connecting yourself to Supreme through the process of Karma Yoga, only then you are qualified to become a sannyasi. So some willy-nilly you cannot take sannyas because you're frustrated. Unless you become a yogi, unless you link yourself with Supreme. Okay? Then he says, why is it not possible? Nahi asanyasta sankalpo. Sankalpa means desires. We have also sankalpa word in our in Bhagavad Gita in desire in Vedic literature often used for desires. Like we have sankalp, or we have various uh, things that we want in this world, okay, that we desire in this world, that we want to engage with, absorb in this world. Those are our sankalpas. So unless you asannyas, unless you detach from those desires, how can you be called yogi? Okay. So, okay, I'll have to write this down. I'll draw it in a few minutes. But basically, Krishna is saying that in order to become a sannyasi, you have to be a yogi. And yogi is that person who has detached themselves, who has taken sannyas from the desires of this world. Okay? Who has taken sannyas from the attachments of this world. So first become a yogi. Krishna is saying, then you can take sannyas. So how do you become yogi? By taking sannyas from the desires of this world and by attaching yourself to me, linking with Supreme. So first do these things, then that person can be called a sannyasi. Otherwise, what kind of yogi are you? Yogi bhavati kaschana. How can you be a yogi unless you take sannyas from the sankalpas of this world and unless you become attached to me? Okay. So can you read this, Mata? Who was reading?
That was Mataji.
Yes, Mata.
Yeah,
Can you read this again, the translation?
sure. What is called renunciation? You should know to be same as yoga, all linking oneself with the Supreme. O
So
son of Pandu,
this is the first thing. So renunciation means same as yoga, linking oneself with Supreme. Okay. So some person willy-nilly cannot take renunciation who is not linked to the Supreme first. Okay, that's one. Then
O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification.
And in order to become that yogi, that person who's linked with Supreme, you will have to give up the desire for sense gratification. So two qualifications are given basically. Renouncing the desire for sense gratification and linking oneself with Supreme. Now I ask you, when people, take sannyas, let's say somebody like me, okay, some ordinary person basically, are they attached to Supreme and are they devoid of sensory desires, sense gratification desires?
No.
No.
They're
No.
not, right? Most people are not. They are just, they take sannyas because they think it is an easy way out. Hmm? That is,
Mhm.
sannyas is not an easy way out. Sannyas is a very difficult path to follow. So to become a sannyasi, you have to be first uh, a sannyasta sankalpo. Krishna is saying take sannyas from the sankalpas, from the desires of this world, and become a yogi, become attached to Supreme. And that path is achieved by Karma Yoga, by staying in your same place, same situation, same circumstance that Krishna gave you, and gradually purifying, gradually detaching from this world, and gradually attaching yourself to Krishna. So, detachment from this world, asannyasta sankalpo is needed, and attachment to Krishna, becoming a yogi, is needed. So both are needed before you take sannyas. So willy-nilly somebody, so that's why Arjun cannot run away from this war and become sannyasi, because he does not meet this criteria yet. Okay. Nor is any ordinary person who's just looking for a way out from their current work, because this war is a work for Arjun. And this war is very frustrating. It is fraught with losses. It is fraught with difficulty. There will be a lot of distress and sadness in this war, and he just does not want to face that, so he's looking for an easy way out. And similarly, we are also looking for an easy way out. So no, that's not what sannyas is. Okay, so Krishna is sort of winding up now. Okay, can we?
Mataji, can I
Yes.
have a question? Is it even practical or feasible to take sannyas in this material world?
It's very difficult, yes, Mataji. So that's why in Kali Yuga, sannyas is not recommended. Okay. That is why because, and especially in our tradition of ISKCON, the Gaudiya tradition that we follow in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sannyas is only taken for the purpose of preaching, and it is imparted by an institution of very advanced people to a very select few, rare people, rare devotees that are on a very advanced platform that meet this criteria of detachment from sense gratification and attachment to Supreme. Those very rare select people who are willing to surrender their life through body, mind, and words to Krishna, who are ready to have no income coming their way, ready to separate from their family, ready to live on a day-to-day basis without knowing where the food is coming from, where the clothing is coming from, where the shelter is coming from. Those people who are ready to surrender themselves that much and ready to preach full time, they will be given sannyas. So very select, rare few people are given sannyas by a uh, authorized body or group of people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji, very, very tough and stringent,
Yeah.
as you explained. Yes.
Yes, madam. Okay, can we read the purport?
Real sannyas yoga or bhakti means that one should know his constitutional position as the living entity and act accordingly. The living entity has no separate independent identity. He is the marginal energy of the Supreme. When he is entrapped by material energy, he is conditioned. And when he is Krishna conscious or aware of spiritual energy, then he is in his real and natural state of life. Therefore, when one is in complete knowledge, one ceases all material sense gratification or renounces all kind of sense gratificatory activities. This is practiced by the yogis who restrain their senses from material attachment. But a person in Krishna consciousness has no opportunity to engage his senses in anything which is not for the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is simultaneously a sannyasi and a yogi. The purpose of knowledge and of restraining the senses, as prescribed in the Gyan Yoga and Yoga processes, is automatically served in Krishna consciousness. If one is unable to give up the activities of his selfish nature, then Gyan and Yoga are of no avail. The real aim is for a living entity is to give up all the selfish satisfaction and to be prepared to satisfy the Supreme. A Krishna conscious person has no desire of any kind of self enjoyment. He is always engaged for the enjoyment of the Supreme. One has no information of the Supreme, must therefore be engaged in self satisfaction, because no one can stand on the platform of inactivity. All purposes are perfectly served by the practice of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
So I think we discussed this, but let's just focus on a couple of lines of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is saying, in a Krishna conscious person, so all of us are practicing Krishna consciousness. So they are simultaneously a sannyasi and a yogi. So what do the two words mean? Sannyasi means somebody who renounces things, meaning detached from something. Yogi means somebody who's attached to Krishna. So a Krishna conscious person is doing both of these things. He is trying to attach himself to Krishna, like you all are attaching through Bhagavad Gita, through memorizing verses, through deity worship, through eating prasadam, through attending kirtans, through chanting of holy names, through right reading, hearing, smarnam, so many things, going to pilgrimages, going to temples, attending festivals like that. So in this way, he's attaching to Supreme. So he's a yogi. And he's also sannyasi because he's slowly becoming aloof or detached from the activities of this world also. He's learning to renounce the fruitive activities, the self gratificatory, sense gratificatory activities. So he's working slowly, he's starting to work for the satisfaction of Supreme. So he's automatically a sannyasi and a yogi. Okay. So then Prabhupada is also saying such a person gives up all selfish satisfaction. So in advanced stage of Krishna consciousness, one will give up all selfish satisfaction and will just be satisfying the Supreme. So this will keep becoming more and more mature in our life. Okay, this sannyas and yoga both will keep becoming mature in our life, so that we become more and more detached and more attached to Krishna. So we become detached from all selfish satisfaction, personal gains, personal ambitions, and we enjoy in the enjoyment of Supreme. He's always engaged for the enjoyment of the Supreme. Okay, Krishna conscious person has no desire for any kind of self enjoyment. So when we say self enjoyment, we are not talking about atma. We are talking about like sense enjoyment, just mental platform enjoyment, just intellectual enjoyment. So on those external levels, this Krishna conscious person does not enjoy anymore. He enjoys internally on a spiritual level with Krishna, with Supreme. Okay. But somebody who has no information of the Supreme, Prabhupada is saying, if they don't know this wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, they have not come in contact with devotees with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, they have no choice. They are constantly engaged externally in the sense gratification, in the engagement of mind and intelligence and ego and senses. So they are externally absorbed in this world. They do not know that there is anything beyond this body. So they are constantly in bodily gratification. Why? Because no one can stand on the platform of inactivity. So again, everybody has to do something. Soul's nature is to be active. So since they do not know the internal activity, the spiritual consciousness, they will forever be externally engaged. Okay. Now here in the beginning, Prabhupada is talking about the jiva's original position. This you all know, that living entity has no separate independent identity. He's the marginal energy of the Supreme. He's part and parcel of Krishna. He's servant of Krishna. This is his real and natural state of life. Who can tell me the verse? And I want you to try to remember this verse. It's very simple. From Chaitanya Charitamrit, which says that our original nature is to be the servant of Krishna and marginal energy of Krishna. Oh, sorry, superior energy. Yeah, marginal energy of Krishna. Tatastha Shakti of Krishna. Which verse says this? We often quote it numerous times. So you can quote this when you're doing book distribution, when you're trying to preach.
I just remember that one line.
Sure.
Not
Go
the
ahead.
second. Jivera Swarupena Krishna Das.
You were breaking up. Can you say
Is
it
that
again?
the one?
Yes, but can you say it again?
Jivera Swarupena Krishna Nityadas.
Not Swarupena. Jivera
Jirupa
Swaruphaya.
Swarupa Haya Krishna Nityadas. Yeah.
Jivera Swaruphaya. Krishnera Nityadas. Okay. So Jivera Swarup means the original identity of Jeev is Krishnera Nityadas, eternal servant of Krishna. Krishnera Tatastha Shakti, Bhed Abhed Prakash. He is Krishna's Tatastha Shakti. Krishnera Tatastha Shakti. Let me find it. Krishnera Tatastha Shakti, Bhed Abhed Prakash. Okay. That he is simultaneously same and different from Krishna. Okay, how do I type? Jivera Swarupaya. Can somebody else try to say this? Jivera
I
Swarupaya.
can try, Mataji.
At least remember the first line.
जीवेरा स्वरूपाः या कृष्णेरा नित्यदासा कृष्णेरा तथाष्टा शक्ति भेद भेद प्रकाशम.
So, Jivera Swarupaya Krishnera Nityadas Krishnera Tathastha Shakti Bheda Bheda Prakash. It's like this. So, Jivera Swarupaya. Jiva's original Swarup is Krishnera Nityadas, to be the eternal servant of Krishna. He is Krishnera Tatastha Shakti. Tatastha means marginal potency or energy of Krishna. Bhed Abhed Prakash. He is simultaneously same, and Abhed means different. So remember that he's qualitatively same as Krishna, and Abhed means he's quantitatively different from Krishna. Okay. So this is our entire philosophy, that we are eternal servant of Krishna and we are simultaneously same and different from Krishna. We are same in quality, meaning we are spiritual entities just like Krishna, Satchidanand Roop, Satchit Anand Roop. And we are quantitatively different because we are very small, infinitesimal, and Krishna is infinite, unlimited. So in this way, and we are marginal potency of Krishna. Marginal means that we have the tendency to fall into Maya and become absorbed in the external energy of the Lord. That's why we are marginal. Tatast, tat pe khada hai. Tat pe khada means that he's standing on the shore, where sometimes he goes into Maya, sometimes he goes into Krishna. Okay, he cannot make up Jiva, he cannot make up his mind. Sometimes he's Krishna conscious, sometimes he's materially conscious. So he's Tatastha, he's marginal potency of the Lord. But anyways, that's the whole philosophy Prabhupada is giving in the first few lines. And if you can remember, that'll be nice. At least the first line, Jivera Swarupaya Krishnera Nityadas. So anybody says, why you do all these things? Why do you have to attend Bhagavad Gita class, waste 1.5 hours of your life every Sunday morning, or go to these temple programs, or offer to Krishna first before you eat? Why do you need to offer to Krishna? Because I am eternal servant of Krishna. So first of all, my first duty is to um, render service to Krishna, like that. Okay, let's do next verse. So Krishna was talking about, in the last verse, Krishna was talking about that sannyasi is somebody who is a yogi, meaning attached to Krishna, and he has a sannyasta sankalpo. He has no desires for this world. He has renounced the desires for this world. Then he can take sannyas. Okay. Let's do the next one. Arurukshurmuneryogam. Arurukshurmuneryogam. कर्मा कारणमुच्यते
कर्मा कारणम्
कर्मकारणमुच्यते
उच्यते
योगारूढस्य तस्यैवा योगारूढस्य
योगारूढस्य
तस्यैवा
तस्याम्
शमः कारणम् उच्यते
क्षमा
Karanam
कारणम्
uchyate.
उच्यते.
उच्यते.
Okay, who can read this?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes.
Translation: for one who is a neophyte in the Eightfold Yoga system, work is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means.
Okay, let me show you them. So Krishna is now talking about different levels of people. So he's now talking about ordinary people and advanced people, just like I was talking about before. I was comparing myself and somebody advanced like Prabhupada. So he's saying, Aruruksho means a beginner, a neophyte. Okay, somebody who's in the very early stages of yoga. Okay, so for Arurukshu people, for beginners, neophytes, karma karanam uchyate. It is better to engage in work. Okay, by means of work. Karanam, by the means of work, yoga is practiced. Okay, yoga rudasya. But people that are yoga ruda means they're not yoga arurukshu, they're yoga aruda. Aruda means they are very mature, they're elevated people, they're very firmly fixed in yoga. Taseva, for those, shama means they can be excused from work. उनको काम से माफ किया जा सकता है. They can be excused. They can stop work. Shama karanam uchyate. For them, work can be stopped. Cessation of all material activities is stopped. Okay. Anyways, whether they're engaged in work or no work, they are situated in such a way that there is no work for them. You remember that understanding also Krishna has given. So they are excused. They're not engaged in any material activities anyways. So Arurukshu people engage in work, in material activities, in various karmas. But yoga aruda people, the mature, advanced people, firmly fixed people, they are free from the material activities. For them, the activities are stopped. Cessation of all material activities is the means. Okay. So can somebody read this?
Can I continue,
Yes,
Mataji?
Yes.
The process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga. It may be compared to a ladder for attaining the topmost spiritual realization. This ladder begins from the lowest material condition of the living entity and rises up to the perfect self realization in pure spiritual life. According to various elevations, different parts of the ladder are known by different names. But all in all, the complete ladder is called yoga and may be divided into three parts, namely Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. The beginning of the ladder is called the Yoga Rurukshu stage, and the highest rung is called Yoga Rudha. Concerning the Eightfold Yoga system, attempts in the beginning to enter into meditation through regulative principles of life and practice of different sitting postures, which are more or less bodily exercises, are considered fruitive material activities. All such activities led to achieving perfect mental equilibrium to control the senses. When one is accomplished in the practice of meditation, he ceases all disturbing mental activities.
Mataji, you can stop here. So it's very straightforward. This is basically difference between a beginner and an accomplished person, a sadhaka who is practicing and who is siddh, right? Sadhaka versus siddh person who's already very pure, very advanced. So for initial person, Prabhupada is saying if they were doing Ashtanga yoga, all these things, they will sit in sitting postures. They will try to control their breathing. They'll follow do's and don'ts. So this is not very. They're not very firmly fixed in this. So they're still on a very fruitive platform. They're still their mind is not focused. So there are many disturbing mental activities are going on. But somebody who's accomplished, they can seize their external activities because they have achieved perfect mental equilibrium, so they are not engaged in any disturbing mental activities. So basically there are two ways to understand this. One is to understand this through, Prabhupada has mostly explained it through Ashtanga yoga, that if some neophyte person engages in Ashtanga yoga, he will still be very much attracted to sense gratification. He will still be disturbed by mental activities, right? Whereas an accomplished person, accomplished yogi will not be disturbed. He'll be completely focused. So in that way, this one can understand. Many of the teachers explain it just as a beginner and as a um, like a beginning practitioner as a sadhak versus a siddh person, an advanced person who can just give up the external activities and take sannyas because they are for them there is no work is meant for them. So they can do whatever they want. They can either engage in activities and they'll still be free, or they can give up the material activities and still be free. But the initial person will have to purify them through karma, through various external activities. So both ways we can understand this. In the first paragraph, Prabhupada has given this ladder. I hope you all know what the ladder is. So do you know what the yoga ladder is? Who knows from our previous discussions? What does yoga ladder means in Bhagavad Gita? Okay.
I think the different stages of learning and going through the spiritual advancement from beginning to the end,
Yeah.
with culminating ultimately in the bhakti yoga
Yes.
and the
Yes.
transcendental love of the God.
Yes. Perfect. So I'll just give you quickly what does yoga ladder means. So yoga ladder, you can say it starts from karma yoga. Okay, karma yoga means that we are engaged in work and slowly trying to purify ourselves. Okay. Then after karma yoga comes, what comes after karma yoga? What do you think?
Jnana yoga.
Dhyan.
Jnana yoga.
Oh.
You said that, right? Jnana yoga. Then
Yeah.
comes Ashtanga yoga. Okay. Then comes Bhakti yoga, which
Bhakti.
Mataji said the most advanced. Okay. Can something be below karma yoga? The yoga starts from this. So the word yoga starts from here. Yoga means connecting with Supreme. So this person is connecting through their karma, this person through the knowledge, this person through those 8 limbs, right? Rules, regulations, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, like that. And then this person through complete satisfaction of Supreme. So here the Bhagwan realization is the most important. They are completely engaged in services. People that are not practicing, they're not on, um, they're still on the material level. The level below that is called karma kanda. Okay. Karma kanda means they may be doing some pious activities. They may be doing some demigod worship. They may do some yagya, homam, those kind of things. But typically, those things are done not for the satisfaction of Supreme, but just to please various deities and various get some fruitive results and all. So that is called karma kanda. So that's why it's on a material platform still, because the personal fruitive benefits are the center. Karma kanda. Below that is like animalistic life, like animalistic consciousness. You can say like this. Okay, and two words that Krishna has used, please remember these. So one is the yoga arudha stage. Arudha means a mature in the yoga process. So they're very firmly fixed. They're detached from this world. They are very focused completely. Their meditation is very absolute. Okay, so Arudha is a mature, advanced personality elevated in yoga, and Arurukshu person means who's a beginner, who's a neophyte, who is very much just struggling still. Okay. So this verse basically, I'll give you a summary of these 4 verses where Krishna is still sort of overlapping from the last chapter. So let's do this one more. 6.4. Yada hinendriyartheshu na karmasva anushajyate
Na karma
anushajyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi
sarva
Sankalpa
sankalpa
sannyasi
yogarudasthaduchyate
yogarudasthaduchyate.
Okay, can somebody read this translation?
A person is said to be elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities.
Let me just show you. So now Krishna is talking about the yoga ruda people, the elevated people that are very firmly fixed in yoga. So they have 3 qualities. One, so Krishna is saying, when can somebody be called a yoga ruda or mature, elevated in yoga? Tad uchyate means he can be said when, yada, when he, indriyartheshu, he does not work for sense gratification. Okay, he's not attached to sense gratification. Na karmasva anushajyate. Anushajyate means he absorbed. Neither is he engaged in fruitive activities. So he's neither attached to sense gratification nor fruitive activities. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi, and he has taken sannyas, or he has renounced all the sankalpas. What are the sankalpas? All the desires of this material world. So he has given up all the various distractions or attachments of this material world. So sarva sankalpa sannyasi. So yoga rudas taduchyate. So Krishna is basically emphasizing to Arjun that you are not yoga ruda. 99.9% of people in this world are not yoga ruda. So you do not have the qualification to take sannyas. Okay, you are a arurukshu. So for you, like in the last verse he said, karmanam uchyate. The best yoga is to just stay engaged in the work for arurukshu people, for the beginner people. You will be called aruda when you have no desire for sense gratification, when you don't have desire for fruitive benefits, and you don't have any material desires. Then you can be called yoga ruda. Then you think about taking sannyas. So, in this way, basically, Krishna is emphasizing this understanding of karma yoga, that no need to just yet give up this war, give up your work, give up your responsibilities or duties, because you do not meet these qualifications of an elevated person. Okay. Can we read this purport, Mataji?
When a person is fully engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is pleased in himself and thus he is no longer engaged in sense gratification or in fruitive activities. Otherwise, one must be engaged in sense gratification, since one cannot live without engagement. Without Krishna consciousness, one must be always seeking self centered or extended selfish activities. But a Krishna conscious person can do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and thereby be perfectly detached from sense gratification. One who has no such realization must mechanically try to escape material desires before being elevated to the top rung of the yoga ladder.
Okay, so let's see a couple of lines. So Prabhupada is saying, let's look at this line. Again, same thing Prabhupada is saying. One cannot live without some engagement. So one must be engaged in sense gratification. So if you do not give a substitute for sense engagement, right, a higher taste, if you do not give a replacement, then our nature is to, our senses are very active, our mind is very active, our intelligence is very active. You have to feed them. If you do not give them a positive feed, then they will latch on to whatever is around them. So they will automatically be engaged in sense gratification. So it is the duty of the soul to engage these senses, engage these bodily aspects, bodily resources in various higher tastes, okay, in various spiritual activities. So give them the higher taste, give them the proper substitute for the external sense objects. If you do not give them, then they will just latch on to the latch on to whatever is available. Okay. So for example, if I want to, let's say I want to eat something nice, but nobody has cooked prasadam at home. So if I don't have prasadam available, then I will go out and eat restaurant food cooked by some lusty, kami person, right? I will just eat outside because I don't have prasadam available. But now, if I have prasadam available at home, then I will not feel like eating outside because I have given a higher taste. I have a substitute. So if you do not give a substitute, if you do not give a replacement, then senses will go here and there, mind will go here and there. So because everything is very active. So give them a higher taste, give them a replacement. Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehinam rasvarjam rasopiyasya. Who will complete?
Param drishtva nivartate.
And param drishtva means higher taste. Param drishtva nivartate. Very good. And I have replaced this verse in 25 verses. I've taken out one very famous verse which you already knew to put this verse in. So hopefully you won't curse me for that because I took out
No, Mataji.
I took out 2.47 to put which you all knew. Karmanyavadhikarasthi I took out to put 2.59. I had to be sneaky, so you will remember one extra verse, not. Anyway, so 2.15. So param drishtva. So you have to give param drishtva, higher taste, a higher substitute, higher replacement. Okay, and then in the end, Prabhupada is saying, if somebody does not have this realization of higher taste, right? They don't know that this option of satisfying Krishna's senses, satisfaction of Krishna is a path. Then what they do? They mechanically try to escape material desires. Okay, so now going back to so when you try to mechanically escape, it does not work. Why? Because this is a very mechanical, means very artificial process, very tasteless process. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of effort. So nobody wants to do all those things. And so there are more fall downs. Those processes become very difficult to follow. Just trying to share the same screen again. Oh yeah, there it is. So all these other people, Gyan Yogi, Ashtang Yogi, right? These people mechanically try to restrain their senses if they don't have understanding of the relationship with Supreme. If they don't try to satisfy the senses of the Supreme. And so it becomes a very artificial, difficult process. But a bhakti yogi, a Krishna conscious person, can do it very spontaneously, very automatically, very, very organically. This happens for him. Taste for Krishna develops and sense gratification goes away because he has introduced Krishna, he has introduced higher taste. Okay. So, do we have time to do one more or no? No, because 5 and 6 go together. So that's okay. I'll just summarize these. So basically, the summary is that Krishna is overlapping. From next verse, if you see, Krishna will start talking about mind. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. Mind is the friend of conditioned soul and his enemy. So Krishna will start talking about mind from the next verse. But basically, what Krishna was summarizing all the Arjuna's doubts in this chapter. That's why this chapter did not open with Arjuna's question. This chapter actually opens with Krishna's summary of whatever he has said in the last chapter. So he summarized saying in the first verse, he said, let me open everything again. I'll just open the translations. So in the first verse, he said that the true sannyasi or yogi is somebody who is unattached to the fruits of his work, not somebody who does not light fire and performs no duty. Niragni and nirakriya, that's not a true yogi or true sannyasi, because Arjuna's understanding was to just give up, and that's a sannyasi. Krishna is saying, no, that's not a sannyasi or yogi who lights no fire, does not do any work. The true yogi or sannyasi is who works with detachment, works with the spirit of sannyas. Okay. And to become a sannyasi, you have to be first a yogi, meaning you have to link yourself with the supreme. And a yogi also has to be renouncing the desires for sense gratification. So these two qualifications are needed. You have to attach to supreme, you have to be a yogi, and you have to detach from the sense gratification. Only then you can take sannyas or renunciation. Then Krishna says that a neophyte person, a rurukshu person, for that person, work is the means, karma is the means to purify themselves, to connect them in yoga. But for a person elevated in yoga, a advanced personality, yoga ruda person, they can stop their material activities. Okay, that's the means. Then he says, and how do you know somebody is yoga ruda? A yoga ruda will be that person who would have renounced their material desires, who will not be engaged in sense gratification, na indriyartheshu. And he's not engaged in karma or fruitive activities, personal gratification activities. That person can be called a yoga ruda person. So basically, he's finished this understanding that you are not a yoga ruda, you are yoga rukshu. For you, work is the means. But how should you work? You should work with the spirit of renunciation. Then Krishna will start talking about mind, that how mind can be 5 and 6 will do together, how mind can be one's enemy or it can be one's friend. So we'll start the training of mind from next class, how to train our mind. Mind is a very uncontrolled entity. It is sometimes compared to a monkey. So how to train this monkey-like mind so that it will work to help us, it will become more and more our friend and not an enemy. So Krishna is saying mind can either be a friend or an enemy. It is up to you. If we control it, it will be our friend. If we leave it untrained, unrestrained, uncontrolled, untamed, then that will be like a monkey and it will become your enemy. So we'll see how to make mind our friend and elevate with the help of mind, not degrade by the mind. So that's our summary of the first 4 verses. Anybody has any questions, realizations, practical points, anything? Okay, if not, we can stop. Since we have 1 minute, let's quickly revise the verse that we learned today. We learned 6.30. Who still remembers it? Let's quickly recite it together then. Please, everybody recite 6.30. Yo
यो
ma
मां
pashyati
पश्यति
sarvatra
सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि
pashyati
पश्यति तस्याहं न
tasyaham
प्रणश्यामि सा चेमेन प्रणश्यति.
Once more. यो
यो
मां
मां
पश्यति
पश्यति
सर्वत्र
सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि सा चेमे न प्रणश्यति.
Okay, once more without looking. Everybody close their eyes. Yo
यो
mam
मां
pashyati
पश्यति
sarvatra
सर्वत्र
सर्वं
सर्वं
च
च
मयि
मयि
पश्यति
पश्यति
तस्याहं न
तस्याहं
प्रणश्यामि सा
प्रणश्यामि
चेमे न प्रणश्यति.
Okay, so may we never be lost to Krishna. We'll end with that prayer. May we all never be lost to Krishna, and may we always see Krishna everywhere. Hari Bol. Okay. Joy.
Hari Bol.
Thank you everyone for joining. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
the Guru Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
all glories to all Guru and Gauranga, all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpartarubhyascha kripa sindhuveva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Hare
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.